Why would someone buy a sequential circuits Prophet 5 when you can buy a Behringer Pro 800? Someone left a comment on one of my videos recently regarding that topic. They said something along the lines of, why would you buy a Prophet 5 when I can just buy a Behringer Pro 800? The Pro 800 is an 8-voice polyphonic synthesizer for less than $400. The sequential circuits Prophet 5, it's a synthesizer that's above $3,000. I forgot how much it costs right now. Why would you do that? The Pro 800 has 8 voices. The Prophet 5 has 5 voices. The Pro 800 probably can do more than the Prophet 5 can do. The Pro 800 probably sounds exactly the same as the Prophet 5. Why would someone spend more than double the money to get a Prophet 5 instead of just buying a Pro 800? And you can make the same argument regarding the Moog Mini Moog. Why would someone get a reissue of the Model D when you can buy a Behringer Model D? Ultimately, the answer to that question is very personal to your own perspective, to your own budget, to your own personal life. We all have priorities in life. My main priority is not analog synthesizers, believe it or not. I am a father, I have a daughter, I have a wife, I have 2 dogs and a cat. My priorities are definitely not analog synthesizers. Although I absolutely love synthesizers, that's not my priority. But Gustavo, do you inherit a lot of money? How can you afford expensive synthesizers? Why would you buy a Moog Model D when you can buy a Behringer Poly D? The question to that answer is very simple. I love creating music. I love being creative, and to be creative in music, you need tools, or you can be creative without tools because we have a voice that we can use to sing. And so you don't even need instruments. You can be your own instrument. But in this case, I love tools. I see instruments as tools to be creative. And instruments also inspire me to create and to write and to make music. When I see the Prophet 5, I just want to create music. When I see my Moog Model D, especially right now with the sun hitting it so beautifully, it just makes me want to create music. And do I not feel the same with the Behringer products? I probably would. I don't have any Behringer products yet, but I probably would feel creative. But to be honest with you, I grew up watching my heroes play these instruments, and it made me want to also own those instruments, just like a Fender Stratocaster, just like a Fender Telecaster or Gibson Les Paul. I wanted to have the same instruments that my heroes had. There are a lot of companies that make Fender Stratocaster style guitars, but I still would want to get a Fender Stratocaster. In fact, I have one because I want to have a Fender Stratocaster. Oh, Gustavo, but they don't make them like they used to because, once they got bought by corporations, their quality became less. Whatever, you can make any argument, but at the end of the day, I want to have a Fender Stratocaster, not a Fender style Stratocaster. There's nothing wrong with it. In fact, there are great companies making Fender Stratocaster style guitars that are probably better than their own Fender Stratocasters. But at the end of the day, I love the look of a Fender Strat, and I love the sound of a Fender Strat, and I love the headstock. I love everything about them. Same, I would say about these synthesizers. When you play a Prophet 5, the reissue or a vintage one, it's a different experience than playing a module, a desk module of a Pro 800. It's completely different. The way that the knobs feel, the weight of the synthesizer itself, the key bed feels different, the buttons feel different. It's a different experience, even if the sound is the same. You can drive a very nice car, and let me say a Ferrari, and you can also drive a Fiat or a Nissan or a Toyota, and it will take you to the same place. Both cars do the same thing. They transport people from one place to another. It might do it differently, but they take you to the same place. Just like when you buy a ticket for an airplane, right? You can buy a first class ticket, or you can buy the worst kind of ticket you can buy with the worst kind of seating, whatever, and still arrive at the same location. That's how I see it. And Do some people prefer flying first class? Of course, because it's more comfortable, you have more leg room, and people are in different walks of life. Sometimes you can afford a first class ticket, sometimes you cannot. Sometimes you can afford the real thing, sometimes you can afford the clone. Nothing is right or wrong. There are no right or wrong answers here. It's all subjective to what you can afford. And so why would I get a Prophet 5 instead of the Pro 800? Simply because I wanted to have a Prophet 5. Now, I am grateful to live in a time and a place where we can afford an 8-voice polyphonic synthesizer for less than $500. That it's crazy. Shout out to Behringer for doing that, making that possible. 5 years ago, I would have loved that. 10 years ago, when I could not afford anything analog, honestly, I would have loved to have Behringer. But now we have it, and now there is the option. There's no need to hate on people who buy only Behringer, but there's also no need to hate on people who buy the real thing. Even if it's not the real thing to you because it's not vintage, we mystify everything. Everything has to be such a mystic, such a mystery, such a holy grail kind of thing, and it doesn't have to be that way. At the end of the day, these are very basic electronics, very basic kinds of wood, and very basic technology. And there's nothing magical about them. But when I look at the Mini Moog, I want to make music. When I feel and touch the Mini Moog, I want to be creative. It inspires me. Do I think it's worth the money I pay for? Absolutely, I think it's worth the money I pay for. Because at the end of the day, things are worth what people are willing to pay for. Let me know what you think in the comments section down below. I appreciate your comments. I appreciate your views, and see you next time. Bye.